Hello everyone, welcome to another TheoristPlayz video. Today we are taking a look at the Minecraft 1.17 Release Candidate 2. It is the most up-to-date snapshot that we have, and it is what is going to be coming out tomorrow, the day after I'm posting this video, for, Minecraft 1.17 Part 1. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of the different changes that we have. I'm not going to go too in-depth because I don't know too much myself. I just want to take a look at the same time while you guys take a look. So without further ado, let's get into it, though we're already in it. As you can see, we have a new title card. We have, in the back, you can see the Amethyst Geodes. You could see Deep Slate. You could see this block, which I forgot the name of. Actually, wait, no, this isn't Deep Slate. This is Smooth Basalt, which is now one of the few nether blocks that actually spawn in the overworld via the underground. You can see the new gold ore, the new coal ore. That's Deep Slate right there. Yeah. You can see the dripstone too, but yeah, let's get into the actual world that I've set up. Alrighty, so we spawn in, and you can see a few things here, but first we are going to start with the latest ore that's been added to Minecraft, which is copper ore. So you can see here we have copper ore and the deep slate copper ore, which we'll go to in a second. Copper is usually used in a whole slew of different things, but in this case, we only have a few uses, which is copper blocks and wax copper blocks. Normal copper blocks will actually end up becoming oxidized, so you'll have the following levels of oxidation. The normal copper, then you'll have exposed copper, then you'll have weathered copper, then you'll have oxidized copper. Oxidation, just like real life, just happens when copper's exposed in the air. The way to prevent it, though, is that during any of these stages of copper oxidation, you wax the blocks. Now, as for how you wax them, I wish I knew. But that is definitely a process that can be done, and you can prevent the oxidation of it. Of course, with the copper additions of copper, we have the different variants. And as you might have seen in the 1.17 presentation, we also got the lightning rod. The lightning rod is basically supposed to just attract lightning. There's really not much more to it. You can probably use this in a few farms so you can try and naturally get creepers rather than use channeling. I personally would use channel. So we're moving on now to the different ores. And for the different ores, we have the normal variants, which have gotten a major reworking. So coal, iron, gold, redstone, emeralds, lapis, and diamond have all gotten a reworking. But as you'll also notice, we've gotten a new variant to each of these, which is the deep slate variant, which you'll find really deep below in the caves. Which sadly we do not have those new caves yet. We are waiting for that in the 1.17 I say Christmas update because it's supposed to be in December. Really, it's just part 2. But we have basically all of these blocks with deep slate variants, which we'll get into deep slate in a second. Moving on to our next resource, which is amethyst, which as you can see, there's a few different things and some amethyst growing right here. So we have amethyst, which is supposed to be used in telescopes, which we'll get to in a second. We have the different forms of amethyst that will grow out of these amethyst buds, which are the things that actually generate amethyst. So if I put a bunch of these down and come back later, you'll actually see that these will have grown some amethyst out of them. We have amethyst blocks, of course, and yeah, that's pretty much it for amethyst, really. Moving on, we have these new forms of iron, copper, and gold. The copper was already new, but specifically we're looking at iron and gold, since that's what I think will actually be the most useful. We have raw iron, raw gold, and raw copper, and their block variants. And what you could do, what happens is basically that when you mine any of these, you get raw iron for iron ore, raw gold for gold ore, and raw copper for copper ore. And that happens with the deep slate variants too, of course. And if you mine it with Fortune, Fortune 3 and the other forms of Fortune actually work with raw iron, raw gold, and raw copper. Making every single resource in the game, I'm not sure about amethyst though, uh, fortuneable, I guess, if you wanted to put it like that. You can use Fortune on every main resource in the game. So let's come down here real quick where we will find our dripstone. Of course, dripstone can be extended to very, very long amounts, as you can see by me doing this here. It can be very, very long, and when you break the block it's on, it falls. Right next to the dripstone, we of course have the dripstone blocks, which I believe can be formed from either 4 or 9 of these. When dripstone falls, it'll give you the dripstone, apparently. So that's pretty neat. That's a good way to mine it. And dripstone, when it falls on something, will make it take damage. So I believe the longer it is, the more damage you take. So moving on to right over here, we have a quick little section. Of course, this is polished basalt. We all knew that. This was 1.16. However, in 1.17, we get smooth basalt, which actually spawns naturally in the world. And over here, you can see deep slate, cobbled deep slate, and polished deep slate. You can also see our deep slate variants, which is deep slate tiles and cracked deep slate tiles, deep slate bricks and cracked deep slate bricks, and chiseled deep slate, which of course gives us another chiseled version of a block, which usually for some people who like Minecraft lore, tends to show some kind of face to them. So that'll be great for those who like that. As for me though, I'm just here for the blocks. And over here we have our calcite and our tuff, which are also two new things that are going to be spawning underground. Basically looks like a different version of andesite and a different version of diorite, really. Over here we have our azalea blocks and all that, which will be which I believe will be spawning naturally in their own respective caves, but will not be, part of those major cave systems that you see that are supposed to be for 1.17 part 2. We have here the glow lichens, which actually aren't restricted to these biomes, to these cave biomes. They're actually going to be spawning all over in the new caves. Reason being, they give a little bit of light, so it'll light those really big, dark, and deep caves up. And here we have moss carpet, the moss blocks, the spore blossoms, the hanging roots, the big drip leaves, the small drip leaves, which, by the way, you can go through the small drip leaves and you can actually stand on the big drip leaves. You can turn it into stairs, and they stack, so pretty neat. You have the flowering azalea leaves, the azalea leaves, the azalea, and the rooted dirt that it grows on. And over here, you can see our goats inside of here, which jump very, very high because they're goats, apparently. And we also have on display here with them the tinted glass. So the purpose of tinted glass, and this is really for farm makers, right? When you're in here using tinted glass, the light level is actually 0, as you can see by the client light showed as 0. But when you go out here, the light level is still going to be 15 since it's daytime. The tinted glass is basically a way to keep farms dark while being able to see through them. And over here we have on display a couple of things. First off, farmland, which you can actually grab with your hand now. Another thing which was supposed to be on display, but of course, they sometimes don't like staying in their area, is axolotls. Axolotls are now something that spawn in the water. I have the candles on display right now. Basically, we have different colored candles with, of course, this down here being the base candle. Now, I'm assuming this is probably made with wax, but just like the pickles, they can stack up to 4. When they're originally placed, they won't be lit, but when you have a flint and steel, or I'm gonna guess a fire charge, you can light it. So that's pretty neat. We also have the axolotls here, which come in a few different colors. Come in pink, white, brown, I believe, and yellow, and that's all I've seen so far. And I've done a few rolls of them. You can pick up farmland, which I think I already discussed. And I almost forgot a mob here, but if we look for the glow squid, we can actually take a look at the glow squid now, which is going to die because this is not enough space or water for it. There it is. Now, I didn't want the glow score. I wanted the isometry, because I figured it would add magic to the game. But, like the PvP specifically. But regardless, we have the glow score. And it's better than that move shooting, whatever the fuck it was. Everyone agreed that that was bad. Oh, and you just saw how I sank in and got slowed down there. This is powdered snow. Since it's on the ground, we'll go over it first. If we hop into this here, you could see that we start freezing, and this could actually be used for, we won't freeze to death, but at this stage, we would be freezing to death right now. So if I actually just, you can see my hearts change, and I start freezing to death here. Which I think this could be used in traps, but they wouldn't be that efficient. They could slow people down, though, which is useful. Right. This actually dropped glowing ink sacs, which is perfect for us because I was right about to get to signs. So if we just pick up sign here, I think Birch will show it best. We pick up some dye. See here that if I place down a sign, I write something on it, so there we go. If I just do that, I can now dye it, or I could put this on it as well, which that's actually an achievement apparently. But with glowing sacs and with some dye, you can make this a reality, which I will probably be putting to use because some signs look very dark. So glowberries. So if you take glowberries and actually place them onto here, they will start growing from like out of a vine, and that's how you can actually get them and eat them. Let me try eating it now. Yeah, so glowberries replenish one shank of hunger, which is alright for something that can just grow idly. But it's not the best. Honestly, I'd rather, pig and cow farts, like usual. But if we look here, we have a few retextures. I should actually swap these. First and foremost, we have our retextured clock, which actually looks more like gold than before, which is what it was supposed to look like. It was made out of gold, it was supposed to look gold. The compass now has a shimmering iron look to it, which is pretty alright if you ask me. And, let's just go over here to where I dropped the spyglass, and let's take a look at our spyglass, which now with the addition of amethyst, we can actually make. If you've ever used Optifine, you'll know that there's a zoom feature, and that's what the spyglass does. Though the zoom feature on Optifine doesn't have, the edges blotted out, so honestly, I'd still prefer to use Optifine when it comes out for 1.17. But for now, this will definitely be a fine replacement. We looked at half of this. We actually looked at powdered snow. But if you didn't know, we can actually use this powdered snow to MLG. So I'm going to do live my first take of trying to MLG Snow Bucket. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I could probably just die here apparently. It's a way. Yeah, there we go. So it can be done. It's just gonna take a little getting used to. I assume this is definitely going to be the replacement in your slots for water, because a lot of people usually keep water on them. This is definitely going to be the replacement for water. As you could see there, I definitely wouldn't suggest clicking it too fast. Don't go that slow. The last thing that I have here to showcase is actually a new banner pattern, which is the globe pattern, along with the glowing signs, which we've already been seeing, they glow a little. That's a little bit of a pop. So if we just go here and we grab this, you can see this is the globe banner pattern, which has just been added. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy or you have any comments or concerns about the 1.17 update, make sure to comment down below and I will definitely get back to you on it. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.